With this weekend's failure of Pixels, both financially and critically, many discussions have begun to surface online if Adam Sandler's days as a major comedic star in Hollywood are done. Some even suggesting that we will never see a great Adam Sandler comedy again. Mark, buy or sell this statement. We will see a great and successful Adam Sandler comedy again.
Man, is that a tough thing to buy, because those could be two independent notions. Seeing a great Adam Sandler comedy and a financially successful Adam Sandler comedy. I mean, I have to buy it because for some reason, maybe it's because I grew up and I saw what he can do in movies like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and Big Daddy and The Wedding Singer. He can do this, and he can still do this, and maybe the failure of Pixels is the impetus that's going to be like, I just got to go back to what I do best. Having said that, when he made That's My Boy fairly recently, I laughed throughout that movie. It wasn't a great film, but I had fun with it, and it bombed. It did not do well at all. It was trying to sell Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg as his kid, and people just didn't want to go see the movie. And so I understand the retreating back to something like Grown Ups or Pixels, where, hey, if I'm in a movie and my buddies are in a movie and we have these iconic nostalgic video games in a movie, how can that fail? Well, it did. So it's hard for me to say it, but I just think that somewhere in him is another great comedy by Adam Sandler. I just think it can happen.
I sell the statement, but I am with you that I want to believe it's in there somewhere. When you got a guy who gave us Happy Gilmore, and you got the guy who gave us The Water Boy, and you got a guy who gave us a lot of these types of movies, those weren't flukes, you know? But let's look down his recent things of the Adam Sandler-led comedies. Blended, Grown Ups 2, That's My Boy. Sorry, man, that movie was horrible. I got a buddy of mine is one of the stars of that film too, and that movie was just horrible.
You didn't like that? the Vanilla Ice? Remember, he had a little.
Vanilla Ice was a high point. He was a high point in the movie. But let's keep going down this list. That Was My Boy, Jack and Jill, Grown Ups. Don't Mess with the Zohan. I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. It's done. I mean, I have been saying for years now, Adam Sandler, I think, underestimates himself, and I think a lot of people underestimate how good he truly is at dramatic stuff. When he is playing dramatic roles, he is exceptional. I don't think even he realizes how good he is. And I am just really waiting for him to throw that switch on his career and go, you know what, I'm gonna go dramatic. And I'm gonna commit myself, not do the odd role here or there. I'm gonna commit myself, next 3-4 films I'm gonna play dramatic leads, and I think he will be a revelation to a lot of people. But I'm sorry, like 2 or 3 in a row, you're thinking maybe there's still hope. He's had like 7 in a row that to me that have just failed. It's like, dude, it's time to change the game plan. And with the failure of Pixels, I think, you know, Grown Ups and stuff like that, a lot of people were still holding on that Adam Sandler films could be great, and they went to them. But now Blended and Pixels in a row, these films are failing now. I think that momentum's gone too. I think he's got to change gears.
Yeah, I don't think anyone goes into making a film like, man, this is going to really suck. And
no, it's true.
Everyone, right. Come on, let's make a big piece of trash. I mean, no one goes into making a film with that notion. And certain things happen, and maybe you're right in a lot of his career decisions. Like, I'm one of those people who actually liked Click, that movie where you had the magical remote.
I liked half of it. I liked the first half of the movie, and I like the second half.
I mean, to me, it was it reminded me of It's a Wonderful Life. He's a really good actor, and like we could always bring up Punch Drunk Love because it's a go-to, and it's something that showed everyone, that people who liked Adam Sandler, but even the people who didn't were like, look, he can act. He can bring that if he wants to. So it's really a decision of if he wants to. I thought Funny People, he was great in that. I thought he was great in Spanglish.
Right.
So there's movies that he was really good in and that were actually really good films, but the overwhelming amount of bad films that he's in kind of cloud that area where, like, you know, the last few movies that you mentioned, I did see That's My Boy, and I have to admit I did laugh out loud, even though it's a bad movie. There's some really very funny scenes in it.
It at least got the taste of Jack and Jill out of your mouth.
I didn't see Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill is one of the worst experiences I've had in life, inside or outside of a theater. But you take something like that and you say, okay, nobody makes a movie to suck. Right. But sometimes they make a movie because they know it'll make money and they can mail it in. That didn't happen with Pixels, even though a lot of that humor felt mailed in. So I think that if it's like, hey, these movies aren't making money anymore, we got to go back to what we do, which is actually focus on the material, you could see a great comedy again. I admit the odds are not in my favor, but...
Well, I heard from a test screening that Ridiculous 6 is like filled with profanity, vulgarity, disgusting horror, gross out humor. I can't wait to see it.
It's got that bad press behind it, but...
It sounds like it is just like they were like, let's just do it. Like, we don't have any, bars around us. Let's go for it. It could be a horrible mess. It could be one of the funniest things that he's done in a long time. So I hold out hope that he can come back and, do a really good film and make a lot of money at the same time. So
I think it's interesting that you bring up two films like Click and like Funny People, because Click, I thought was a movie with an identity crisis. It kind of changed his identity halfway through the movie. Funny People, I didn't think worked. But the funny thing is that I do agree. I think Adam Sandler was strong in both of those. But going back to the other point, he was playing a dramatic role in movies that were kind of meant to be comedies at the same time. And he really shines when he does that, both in the aspect that he played in Click and especially in Funny People. He was playing a dramatic role in a comedy film, and then Seth Rogen was there kind of offsetting all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, who knows? Watch. He's going to put out a movie next year, and it's going to kill us all and bring us back to him. And here's all the hope. I just really want him to commit to going dramatic and let's see what he can do.